So just to recap, this for loop is setting all the card icons that are in that particular player's hand when it's their turn, and this for loop is setting all the card icons to null if they aren't in the player's hands. So like if the player only has 7 cards but we have 15 buttons on the screen, it'll set the other 8 cards to null. So if you want to write a comment just to remember what that means, so just be like sets all the card icons to null, something like that. But yeah, so the next method, or the next thing that we're going to do is finish our constructor. So we're going to populate our array list. We are going to start the game. We're going to set the PID name, and then we're going to do this method right now. So let's go do that. So this is below our populate array list method, so we're just going to do public void set PID name, and then the current player is going to be we're going to set that equal to the game.getCurrentPlayer. That already figures out who the current player is. And then we're going to set PID name label dot set text current player plus cards. So if the first player's name is like Mark, this is going to say Mark, and then it's going to concatenate an apostrophe as cards. So it'll be like Mark's cards, or Jason's cards, or Shelby's cards, or whatever. So, okay, did we not declare PID name label? Alright, so we're going to go check that right now. So that's actually going to be, so this label in our design, we're just going to make sure it's the same thing. So JLabel1. So we're going to rename this PID name label. Save that, and then go back to our source code. So that fixes that error. And then we have one error. Oh yeah, the pop-up window. And then we're going to check on this. Okay, that's because we haven't finished the constructor yet. So yeah, that's just gonna set the PID name, and then alright, what's the next thing we need to do? So back to our constructor. So we set the player name, and then we're gonna do top card button. Alright, so instead of calling this the deck button, or the deck card, we're going to call this, alright, so name. Oh, actually, let's make sure this is the right one. Okay, yeah, that's the down card. Okay, so refactor, rename, you get that by right clicking, top card button. Alright, so now we can just put top card button dot set icon new jvax dot swing dot image icon. This long get class thing again, it has to be inside of here. So get class, open close parentheses, then get resource, and then in here / images / png slash small slash and then add game.get top card image. Alright, and then the last thing that we're going to do is push that down, and then we're going to set the button icons. So that is going to finish up the constructor. So we have a couple more methods that we have to write. So this is also going to be another public void set pin name, but this one is going to take in a string of the current player and just going to set the name label to current player plus their cards. So same thing as the method above, except that this time it takes the current player as a parameter. And now we're going to write like the functionality of what each of these buttons is going to do. So go to the design of your game stage, and then you're going to just click this, and then it's button 16. So we're going to rename that to draw card button, and then double click it, and then we're going to set what it does. So when you click that button, what it's going to do is create a JLabel, a message, new JLabel, and we're going to get the current player, and we're going to say concatenate, they drew a card. And then we're going to set the font for the message, same thing that we've been doing. Arial, bold, 48. And then we're going to show this by doing JOption pane, show message dialog. Fix this by importing, just click on the light bulb. So then after it shows the message, we have to do try and catch for this. So game.submit draw. Okay, so I think we misspelled that method name, so we're just going to go back. What did that say? Submit draw. Okay. Yeah, so that just becomes that. Just fix that. And then fix that. So we're going to try game.submit draw, game.get current player, catch, invalid, player turn exception. And then we're going to say logger.get logger, game stage dot class dot get name dot log dot severe null x. So we're just catching that exception. Now we're just gonna set the pin name to the current player, and then this dot set button icons. So after we draw, we're just gonna make sure the current player is set, and then we're gonna set the icons for that player. So make sure that it displays the correct card and the correct name. One thing that's really important to know is when you go back to your design, make sure that your buttons, so like the name of the button, matches its position. So like not necessarily like the text. So like depending on how you like just drag the buttons out, like they might not say the correct button. Like this says 3, this says 4, but it's not at position 3 and position 4. But the name is in order. So J button 1 is the first button, and it's highlighted with orange. Then J button 2 is the second one, 3 is the third one, fourth, and then so on. So just go through all your buttons and make sure they're at the correct position. If they're not, you just pick it up, you just select it and just rearrange it. But yeah, pretty much you're just gonna just make sure that all your buttons are in order. So 14 is in the 14th position, and then 15 is in the 15th, just like that. So the text doesn't matter, but it is the position that matters, that aligns with the name, the variable name. So just make sure that you have that in order before you go on to the next part. And now we're almost done with this class. We're down to like the last things that we're doing, but this is a little bit time consuming again. So you're gonna double click button 1, and then you're gonna we're gonna write what it does when you select this button. So we're gonna say if card IDs.get 0 does not equal null, the index is equal to 0, say string card ID equals card IDs.get 0. So we're gonna get the string of the card, and we're pretty much going to use that to display the card that's at that position. So like we're getting the first card in that player's hand, and we're getting the string representation of it from our array list. And then we're gonna make the window equal, the window is this pop-up that we haven't, this pop-up class we haven't created yet, but pretty much when you select a card, a pop-up window is gonna pop up that is gonna let you like confirm the card or cancel it. So the window is gonna equal new pop-up, and then it's gonna take a certain number of parameters. We're just going to write down what they are because I wrote the class. I just haven't put it in the tutorial yet, but pretty much we're going to put card ID, game, index, card buttons, this, and a top card button. And then window, you're going to set the bounds. For my screen, 750 by 40 by 700, 800 worked really well. So you might have to tinker around with these numbers, but if you put these in, they should work for you. True, so it'll show the window. Don't want anyone to be able to resize that. And then we're going to set the default close operation. Dispose on close. So when you close the screen, it just gets rid of it. Yeah, so I couldn't figure out how to get a for loop to work for, like, I didn't know if there was a way to get a for loop to work for each of these buttons so that you wouldn't have to write this code over and over again. If there's a way to do it, I don't know how it was done. So the way that I had to do this was you're gonna have to copy and paste this and do it for each of the 15 buttons, and you're just gonna change the 0 here, here, and here. So the first 3 lines, you just increment it by 1 every time you go down the list of buttons. So now that we're going to button 2, double click that, and then you just copy and paste this, and then you just change this to 1, change this to 1, and then change this to 1, and then that's it. That's all you're gonna have to do, and then you just have to do that for each of these. So now that you're on button 3, just same thing, paste, put that for 2, 2, 2. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it should look like. So once you finish that, you should have something that looks like this, where like this is the last card, so this is 14, 14 and 14, 13, 13 and 13, and so on for all of these buttons. So okay, so actually I skipped one of the buttons, so I'm gonna go back and fix that. So there, got that button put in. So yeah, so that's what it should look like all the way for all your buttons. And then once you have that finished, to fix this error at the bottom, like it's saying it needs to take what is it called? It needs to take like a parameter, like it needs to take a array list of string, because we have one constructor and it takes an array list of string. So to fix that, we can just make one constructor for this that just doesn't take anything, and then that should fix this error. Yeah, it fixed that error. So that should finish that up. So that's going to finish our game stage class. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, just like, I really appreciate it. And then we should probably only have about 2 more episodes left in this series. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.